What's going on, people? Welcome once again to Raw Boxing TV. My name is Ranger. I'd like to welcome you to my channel. I'd like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. I also would like to encourage you to follow me on Twitter, where I'm mostly active instead of YouTube, at Raw Boxing TV. Last night's card was a pretty good night of boxing, in my opinion, and in the opinions of many. Only with the exception of one fight that was a clear robbery. I honestly don't see how, if you knock your opponent down and then you hit him and dislocate his shoulder, I don't see how you are disqualified for that. But anyways, I'm not, I don't have any control of that, neither do you guys. Last night's card, again, it was a great night of boxing. Before I go into the main event, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the fights before the main event. I'm going to start with the Yunier Dorticos, Dr. KO, who is now 18-0 with 17 knockouts. Yesterday being his first fight that depended on the judges' judgment. He fought a veteran, an Edison Miranda, the Colombian, who resides in Puerto Rico. I like this fight. You can't always go for the knockout. Matter of fact, I was concerned about Yunier Dorticos because his fights kept ending in 6 rounds or less. You always wonder, this guy's finishing people, but what's going to happen when he is taken to deep water, even against a lesser opponent, just the stamina factor. And last night, man, he just took it to Miranda. It was a great fight. Stamina was good. The kid has skills. However, I'm going to be real with you. He needs a new trainer. If you guys follow me on my Hispanic channel, you remember the video I did that was called Message to Yunier Dorticos, and I included other fighters on there, but the message was mainly for him. Now, you heard me. This was probably 1.5 years or 2 ago. Say, get you another trainer. Because the trainer that you have might have been a kickboxing champion, but he was never a boxing coach. And not everybody can make the full transition, because it's 2 different sports, believe it or not. There's 2 different ways of looking at it. There's 2 different ways of constructing an attack or building a plan of defense. So I'm still not okay with this trainer. I'm sorry. Yunier Dorticos, I think he still needs a good 4 or 5 more fights and keep moving up in level in those fights before you put him out there with the big dogs. But this kid is going to put a lot of people to sleep, honestly. Miranda was just a tough guy last night. Moving on. The fight that impressed me the most last night was Umberto Savigne, a fighter who is an old man for the sport of boxing. A fighter that's 35 years old. A fighter that realistically we cannot have high hopes of a longevity of or a lot of accomplishment in the pro ranks just because of how late he started his professional career. This fighter he was an excellent boxer in Cuba. 175 pounds. Just an excellent fighter. Won I don't know how many medals as a Pan American, world champion, Carabobo, all of those things. But tried to defect from Cuba, got caught, and the government did not let him box. He was retired for 8 years before he came to the United States. Came to the United States, did not want to fight. He was weighing 249 pounds. Decided to take a fight to test himself. One of his first fights he lost due to an ankle injury that was caused by the 249 pounds, which is certainly outrageous for a fighter who was at 168, I think it was 168 and 175 in Cuba. But after that loss, he woke up and he said, you know what, I'm going to give whatever's left of me to the sport. And he dedicated to the sport and dropped from 249 to 175 and hasn't lost since then. And he's just putting people to sleep. Last night, he did not fight a great boxer. He fought Left Hook Lacy, which is a decent fighter within himself. very powerful opponent. Why did I call this an even fight? You can say Lacy's been out for I don't know how long or whatnot, but you balance things out. You balance the fact that Savigne is young as a pro, right? Last night was only what, I think he's 13th or 14th professional fight. You got to balance the fact that he is also 35 years old. You got to balance the fact that he was also so inactive. And to start his professional career after such a long inactivity, it's impressive within itself. What can we expect from Savigne? I expect him to keep winning. I probably expect him to maybe get a belt, but I think age will catch up to him pretty soon, unless he super dedicates himself to the sport when it comes to diet, discipline, zero partying, zero alcohol, extremely good health, diet. It takes a lot to remain like Hopkins, other than other things. Moving on. Last night's main event, the first time there was a knockdown, there was a knockout. Last night, it wasn't a knockout. I was expecting this fight to end by knockout. But then right before the fight, I told David, I've mentioned him before in my videos, which is a friend of mine that watches pretty much a lot of the fights with me. Watch. Argenis Mendez is a very good, slick boxer, very defensive-minded. Don't be surprised, I told him. Argenis Mendez makes adjustments and come to try to survive. That's exactly what he did. Never committing during the fight. To the point that even Mike Tyson was so disappointed in him after the fight when they interviewed him, but he did not commit. Barthelemy did not look as impressive as he could have looked if Argenis Mendez decided to go into a trade with him. But this is boxing. Why should we be mad at Argenis Mendez? Because he chose to try to survive. And why should we be mad at Barthelemy? Because he chose to adapt and take his time. But the one mistake he was doing is he was looking for a one-punch knockout until he realized around the 8th it wasn't going to happen. He was baiting Mendez all night long. Why? People kept saying on Twitter, oh man, his jab's so sloppy, so sluggish, so slow, so early in the fight. Well, see, that's what I mean. Not everybody knows about boxing. When you see a fighter standing tall, and this is what he's doing. Like that. Circular motion, just, he drops it. What he's doing is he's putting meat on the hook and dumping it in the lake. He is baiting that fish. He's basically saying, here's my slow hook, here's my slow jab, there's my chin, I ain't all that, come and get me. Why? Because he knows that the opponent in front of him does not have the power to hurt him, but he knows he can hurt him. However, that fish did not bite last night. That fish kept going around the hook, tipping it, going around the hook, tipping it. He might have taken a little bite once or twice. You will pull that line, but you still not hook him. And we had the results that we had. However, Barthelemy won the fight. Who do I want to see Barthelemy fight next? I don't have a problem seeing the best versus the best fight each other. I don't have a problem seeing champions versus champions, well-named fighters versus name. It's kind of crazy. The people that claim to know boxing, every time that the people that don't know boxing, like what you guys say, I don't know about boxing, every time we want to see a fight that's best versus best or well-named versus best, you guys go crazy. Oh, well, why should we see that? This guy's better than this one. My guy can knock your guy out. Well, then what's the problem? I'm still trying to figure out what the problem is. If your guy can beat my guy, where is the problem? Is that you should be happy, because I know I would. Last night I said, I would like to see if Garcia does not fight Gamboa and he decides to move up to 135 or 130, I want to see him with Barthelemy. Oh, a bunch of you went crazy. Well, you don't understand. Garcia has more power, more everything than than Barthelemy. Again, then where's the problem of me wanting that fight? You shouldn't be worried. You should be okay. You should enforce the fight. You should be like, okay, yeah, let's make it happen, because you know your guy can beat my guy. But every time we want to see a fight that poses a threat to your guy, the only thing you guys recruit to say is, well, that guy lost versus some dude 3 or 4 fights ago. Well, that guy. Where's the problem? You can ignore the comments about this video, but please post one answer in this comment section. Where is the problem on seeing the best versus the best, or the top guys in the division versus each other? Why are you always so negative towards your fight? But the minute they give a fish to your guy, you're all over it. Sounds like a little lack of, to me. But anyways, the sky's the limit. 130, Mikey versus Barthelemy. And again, you may not like to hear the name Mikey, but Mikey is one of the top names. Why is it that Mikey is so good when you want him to fight some nobody, but when he's challenged or when he is close to fighting some dude, now all of a sudden, you know, no. I don't know, man. Drop your comments. I'm out.